bear this pressure and this cross of injustice. We need your help now. Lift the bowed down head and mend the broken heart. Repair the spirit, show us and teach us tough times.
Coming out, we appreciate here and folks from outside the community that wanted to support. So the themes of this event is Heal Kenosha and Reimagine Kenosha.
All right.
Because we know the necessity to drive our community forward. We realize the institutions are racist, the institutions are sick, and they need to be rebuilt. They need to be torn down, reformed, and restructured. We know this past year and a half has not been a recipe for success.
And unloads, but I can't because he's dead. And now that nobody needs to answer for that. And I have a problem with that. Yeah. I think I've been very open in expressing my empathy for the other side of this, but that's just not reciprocated back. We need to focus on what's most hurtful here to these people, myself included, which is the loss of life and the safety of life. Violence or pro-destruction at all. Well, life is more important than any of that.
Come on. Come on.
It's time to get organized for revolution, nothing less. A system that greenlights the white supremacist vigilante slaughter of people standing up for Black lives is completely illegitimate. It needs to be all the time. Everyone who cares about justice, about Black lives, about a decent future for humanity needs to get with the Redcons and get busy for heroes. Hero at a time, the oath goes to everybody who loved them. Of the tens of millions of people around this, what this system is built on. Never before have a lot of people even thought about these questions. It showed what is possible when millions take to the streets in determined struggle. But it also showed, that, and this verdict confirms it, that this system fundamentally can't be reformed, that white supremacy is built into it, and that it will take a real revolution overthrowing this capitalist system, it's white supremacy, to finally uproot it. The foul and cowardly killings of JoJo and Anthony Rittenhouse are part of a larger picture where fascists are seeking to violently impose their will on people who are righteously protesting this system. And you see them now in the school boards, in all over the place, in these anti-mask things. There is a fascist assault on people who care. And this is a quote from our declaration. These days there's a lot of talk about another civil war, especially from fascists in government and the broader society, who think they could just carry out a one-sided slaughter of those they hate, including black and other people of color, black people and other people of color, illegal immigrants, uppity women, and those who don't conform to traditional sexual and gender relations and norms. This situation needs to be radically changed to where the masses of people are prepared to defeat these fascists and do so as part of getting rid of this system which has bred these fascists and all the horrors. We need repolarization. We need polarization for revolution, making real revolution an active and increasingly powerful force of thousands and then millions of people organized to work for and win more and more people for the revolution, radically changing the terrain on which it will be fought. To make this real, we need to get organized now. There is no time to lose. And I'm going to end with a quote from the leader of our revolution, Bob Avakian. Says, instead of fighting and killing each other, what people need to be doing now is uniting to defend each other, opposing all unjust violence, not launching attacks on anyone, but at the same time, not allowing the police or civilian fascist thugs who wantonly brutalize and murder people. And people must do this as part of getting organized for revolution. Find out about the RevCon. Thank you.
All right, our next speaker is going to be Zach from the International.
Like I said, my name is Zach from the International Group. I'm here from the Partners Collectors Alliance. I just have a few words to say. Minutes ago, the jury in the Wisconsin trial for teenage killer Kyle Rittenhouse handed in a verdict of not guilty on all counts, letting this foul murder of two anti-racist protesters walk. It's proof positive that there is no justice. Rittenhouse is not a lone killer. The gunman was part of a swarm of white supremacist vigilantes who infested Kenosha in August 2020. Trial. This is the trial of George Zimmerman who protests this atrocity. We at the International
We need affordable housing.
Yes, sir.
We need to address homelessness. The reason why JoJo Rosenbaum was out that night was because he had nowhere to go. Address the education system.
That's right. Yes. Come on.
Maybe if we fully invested into our next generation of youth, then a 17-year-old wouldn't be out on the streets with a gun and kill two people and crippling. So we were here tonight, and we'll be here all night, calling for peace, calling for healing, calling for a reimagination of not only our community here in Kenosha, but also our state and also the nation.
Yes, sir.
Because we all know we need it right now. So for folks that are around here or in the region or in the area, swing by. We'll be here all night. We have heat. We have music. We're gonna do some yoga.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna build community.
All right.
Because that's what we need right now. So I'm gonna turn it over to Summer and a half, who has done the work to make sure, if you look around for folks that aren't from the community, you could notice that there aren't as many businesses boarded up as there were last year. There is no fence around the courthouse. And that's due to work from folks on the ground like Tanya McLean, the executive director of Leaders of Kenosha. So I'm going to turn it over to her right now.
The outcome is yet another example of a system that protects white violence and devalues our lives based on who we are and what we look like. We love, support, and fight alongside the Blake family, the Huber family, the Rosenbaum family, Gage Groschwitz, and the people demanding true justice and safety. We believe loss of Anthony and JoJo's lives, and for the trauma and harm inflicted upon those who witnessed this unspeakable violence. We are terrified by this verdict, even as we know no verdict would have brought back the lives of Anthony Huber and JoJo Rosenbaum, or changed the impact of brutality on Jacob Blake and Gage Groschwitz. A verdict alone would not keep us safe. We come together to mourn the lives lost to the same racist system that devalues Black lives and devalue the lives of Anthony and JoJo. We are coming together to heal the scars left by the wounds of this group. We will care for each other and remember why we continue to march. We've been out here for way over a year in the cold, in all the elements, and as Kyle stated, we're here for the long haul. As Hannah said, we're not going anywhere. It's time that people realize what their worth is in this community. One of Lock's big initiatives is voting. We know that we need people to get to the polls so that we don't have people like George Schroeder on the bench. He's an elected official. We have so many racist people on our county board, in our city council, that are lockstep with the killer's mentality and the people that support him. That is no way to govern. So we're just putting everyone on notice. We're here, we're paying attention, and we're not going. And again, thank you everyone for coming.
All right, next speaker is going to be Bishop Tavis Grant from Rainbow Push.
All right, give it up, give it up. I want to thank the families of Anthony Hubert and Joseph Rosenbaum being with us on today as we remember Gage. Today is a national tragedy, a national disgrace. It brings us to the remembrance of Emmett Till, when the jury foreman came out from their deliberations after deliberating 2 hours. They asked the foreman, why did it take 2 hours? And he said it would only take an hour if we didn't have to take a cigarette break. Yes, sir. We know what vigilante tactics are all about. This verdict gave value to vigilantism in the streets of America. We all saw the video. We all heard the words of Kyle Rittenhouse when he turned himself in. Out of his own mouth, he said he killed 2 white kids. We saw him in court proceedings. We saw him when they found him after he was missing while out on bail. Bias in affording him to go back out on bail after being missing on bail. We saw pictures of him socializing as an underage minor in a tavern. As a matter of fact, he took his mug shot. Have a license to drive, does not have a license to carry a gun, and is underage, broke curfew on August 25th. Went against law enforcement instructions by his own admission on the stand. And we saw dog whistling from the bench. Equally so, the civil rights activists and organizations called for a national day of action starting here in Kenosha at 2 p.m. this coming Saturday. In cities this coming Sunday, November 21st, this coming Sunday at 2 p.m. in cities all over America, a national day of action. We'll be meeting with NBA players and NFL players for a national boycott, because we're not going to sit back and take this quietly. We're not going to lie down, we're going to stand up. This is not a time for champions to lie down. This is a time for us to rise up in the spirit of those who marched and put their bodies and their lives on the line for people like Jacob Blake Jr. Yes, sir. Imagine this young man. Imagine this young man in rehab and in recovery right now. He took it upon himself yesterday to call for peace and calm, and admitted out of his own mouth he had no idea who Kyle Rittenhouse was. But in a land of laws, we hold people accountable for murder. In a land of laws, we hold people accountable for breaking the law. In a land of laws, no matter how well financed you are or popular you are, When have we ever seen a black or brown defendant have a Congress member, a member of Congress, laud and applaud them out in the open? When have we ever had a murderer, a domestic terrorist as such he was, have conversation about giving him the Congressional Medal of Honor? It is outrageous. It's beyond disappointment. It's a national disgrace. And there's no way that we can allow our Constitution and our democracy. We'll be marching. And this time, there are going to be economic consequences for this kind of behavior. You're not going to continue to shoot black and brown people. You're not going to continue to take advantage and intimidate us and have two branches or two forms or two brands of freedom. There will be the right justice. And we're not going to sit idly by with the blood of Anthony Huber and Joseph Rosenbaum and the tragedy
that the same group of people who champion all lives matter and spent this whole trial telling us in America why JoJo and Anthony's life sent to every supremacist or person who just opposes and disagrees with calls for reform, stories of injustice, and calls for equal protection, let alone equal application, loose on the streets of Kenosha. Several nights of unrest with no loss of life until he stepped foot here. But these are the so-called heroes of folks who call themselves patriots and true Americans. That's sickening. There are states right now, Florida and others, either passing laws or attempting to pass laws where protesters can be driven over without reprimand. This ruling is no different than that. What would stop any person who hates protesters of any color and seeking them out and using these protections to carry out their violent fantasies with immunity? The city of Kenosha and its law enforcement will have to answer for why this was able to happen on y'all's streets. Why are militia claiming law enforcement conspired to send protesters their way for them to take care of the protesters? Why were there strategies in place for protesters but nothing in place for armed militia members? Some who clearly organized online making threats and comments that show intent to come here to cause harm. The loopholes in these state laws that are clearly in place for some folks and not others need to change. Let's be honest, what would happen if we put assault rifles in the hands of 17-year-olds from Milwaukee and sent them to the nearest suburb claiming that they were there to protect anything? What would happen? This has been January 6th all over. Come on. We all know that had that been BLM or even Antifa, what the result would have been. But this country continues to show the divide that does not need to be created, but that has always been there. And until that divide is addressed and fixed, we will always end up right where we are. Martin Luther King said riots are the language of the unheard. And y'all are still not hearing us. Come on. Fix the reason folks have to take to the streets to begin with, and then you won't have to worry about the loss of property, and we won't have to complain about the loss of our lives. Thank you.
You got the Brown to walk on.
I want to lead folks in a chant real fast before I bring up my next speaker. Come on. So what are we going to do here? We're going to reimagine. Kenosha. Reimagine Kenosha. Reimagine. Reimagine. Kenosha. Reimagine. Kenosha. Reimagine. Kenosha. Reimagine. Kenosha. I wanted to make sure we're remembering why we're here. So I want to also say their names. Anthony and JoJo. Anthony and JoJo. Say their names. Anthony and JoJo. Say their names. Anthony and JoJo. That's right. Engage. That's right. The next speaker we're going to bring up is a former school board member for Kyle Flood.
I'm Kyle Flynn. I'm a former school board member. It's KYLEFLOOD. I'm going to be brief today. I knew Anthony Huber, went to high school with him. Absolutely phenomenal person. I didn't know Joseph Rosenbaum. I don't know Gage, but they're both phenomenal people. They're both heroes. All of them are heroes. And that's what I'm here to share today. Is that today, because of this verdict, we turn a page and we start a new chapter here at Kenosha. A chapter where we start to reimagine what Kenosha looks like. We reimagine a demilitarized police where people never have to start a riot, where people never have to go out and be street medic, guard buildings. We reimagine a Kenosha with a better education system that actually teaches financial literacy, that actually teaches real history curriculum, that actually teaches people what they need to know so that we don't have more Kyle Rittenhouses out on the street. And we reimagine a Kenosha where everyone can find housing, can find mental health services, and can find the things they need to succeed in life. This is a brand new day for Kenosha. This is the day of imagining something new, and that's what we're doing. So that's the message I want to share with everyone. We are reimagining in honor of Anthony Huber, in honor of Gage Roskowitz, and
Thank you so much, Kyle. Our next speaker is going to be the president of Breaking Barriers Mentoring, Sedan Smith.
Youth chapter president of Breaking Barriers Mentoring. My name is Sedan Smith. That's SEDANSMITH. I'm the brother of Seville Smith, who was killed by a local police officer in 2016. What I'm here to do is I'm here to say basically a cry from us is a cry for help. A cry from us is a cry from America. A cry from us is supposed to represent a cry from you all. A cry from us is a cry for humanity. A cry for us is a cry for equality. A cry from us, it's a cry for justice. Today, the scales of justice was weighed in the hands of the oppressor. The scales of justice did not serve to be equal today. The scales of justice did not prove that equality exists here in America today. The scales of justice weighed in the hands of the American conquerors and the oppressors of the people. We, as Americans, in this state in which you claim us to be Americans, have not been treated equally at all. The scales of justice have always been weighed against us. If Kyle's name was Kendrick or Kydell, we wouldn't be going through this. If Kyle had been black, we would not be going through this. The trial maybe would have been over in a day, but it would not have been a fair trial. So what you're saying is that even though Alvin Cole and Kyle, who ran with a gun and an assault rifle, had the right to do that, justifiably, I don't see the difference in the two. Alvin Cole didn't have a criminal history just as well as Kyle did. The age, 17. The difference in that was that in fear for Alvin in his life, in his thought process of him running, that's all he was doing, running in fear. The difference in that when Kyle was running, he was running with an intent that if, even though he got scared, he was going to use that firearm. We have to create the scales of justice to prove that there is equality here in America. We have to come together and create the unity and create peace that we want to see one another every day and show that love that we need to show from one another every day so that we can say, this is America. That's all I want to say.
Thank you for coming down. As my little brother we met almost a year ago, he's done some incredible things with the youth in Milwaukee. Next up is Minister Kalu.
One of my brothers also from Milwaukee doing great work. And then we're going to wrap it up.
Peace and love, everybody. My name is Minister Khalid Bell. I'm here with Cape Cool, Kenosha Coalition Organized Revolution, and all this love is Nelson. What I'm going to say is, I'm going to address the system. This was a gross miscarriage of justice. I've never seen nothing like this in my whole life. And I practiced this law, and I've been doing that for the last 20 years. This was one of the most gruesome, gross miscarriages of justice I've ever seen, where the iron hand of justice stepped in to manipulate the outcome of the jury and made a decision yield to its benefit. That right there within itself is an injustice. When you throw away the people because they were criminals, they called them criminals and rioters, then you got rid of the guns, you made sure you dismissed that. What was the jury deliberating about? There is no justice in America for the oppressed. This is a fact. If you are oppressed in America, there is no justice for you. Yeah. This is a fact. We have been oppressed for many, many decades, even centuries in this country, and we have not yet seen justice for the oppressed. And every time the oppressed voice rises up out of oppression, speaking to the pains of that oppression, any kind of violence or any kind of injustice or atrocity can be exacted against that person, and in the eyes of the so-called justice in America, it's justifiable. And this case right here has taken the veil off of the crooked system here in this country for the oppressed. And like I said before, this is a gross miscarriage of justice. The DOJ needs to step in and take over this case and do things the right way. The state got it wrong, but the feds need to step in. Where is Joe Biden? Where is Kamala Harris? Where are these people that say that they speak with the people, for the people, by the people, but they're not stepping in and stepping up for the people when it counts? That is something that we need to stand up and step out against and stop being gullible for these politicians when they want to run for election and then leave us hanging when we need their help. That has to change. That's a narrative that has to change. And again, I want to say this. We cannot continue to stand with injustice, and every time we see something like this happen, rally around like it's a circus show. The fact of the matter is that real lives were taken. Real person was injured. And the first person life that was taken was very intentional. And that was very, very, very known. And the man got up on the stand and said that he did it. And he still walked away free after 10 charges were dropped against him. That within itself is an injustice. So when people say that they don't believe in the system, we don't believe in the system, and we got proof today. Yeah. No justice, no peace. No game.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, Justin Blake speaking. Brother of Big Jake and the uncle of Jacob Blake was shot 7 times in his back in front of his children by Officer Shesky, that still is paralyzed to this day. Imagine this, we're in Kenosha after trial, and the prosecutor that would not prosecute the police officer that shot little Jake half-ass prosecuted somebody that murdered 2 people. Imagine that. He had his hands all over Jake's case and how it was moving. We haven't heard him squeak like a mouse. He said nothing over. This is the most historical case in this city, and we've heard nothing from him. This system was played out, and the world could see it was guilty as hell. Number one, they didn't take into account the pictures of the young man prior throwing up the Proud Boy sign, and the young man in the bar throwing up the Proud Boy sign after the murder of 2 people and Gage being harmed. Then there was a video that said he couldn't wait to shoot somebody. I'm a bad man. I grew up in the streets of Chicago. I've said a lot of things, but I've never said I couldn't wait to shoot somebody. I might beat you down, but I've never said out of my mouth I couldn't wait to shoot somebody. And then 30 to 40 days later, he actually murders 2 people and harms Gage the third. I mean, so much was removed from this case that, if you were framing out a house and you put a roof on it, the damn thing would come tumbling down. So not only are we standing here today letting you know we're not asking, we're demanding that Jacob Blake's case be reopened. 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 We turned a red state blue. We marched from Kenosha, Wisconsin to Milwaukee. And every African-American community that believed in the Blake family, and we're not gonna be nobody's sucker. We were understood that when Vice President Biden came down and spoke to my brother and the rest of the family, that he was gonna exact change on behalf of little Jake and make sure things are okay. But what actually happened was the DOJ, under a Democratic president, said it was okay to shoot a young man 7 times in the back in front of his 3 children, paralyzing them to this day. And I'm telling you, Joe Biden, we're coming for you. Sister Harris, we're coming for you. We're not going to stop. There's not going to be a place you can go that we don't show up. They betrayed the Floyd family, and I just got off the phone with 2 of them the other day. They betrayed the Taylor family. Bianca Austin, that runs around this country with my brother Big Jake, the aunt of Breonna Taylor, believed in this people that we would help them get elected. So once finally African Americans would get what they were looking for. But let me share something with you, brothers and sisters. We built this country. Say that. We built this country. We built this country. 300 to 400 years of slavery made this the richest country to this day in the world. And I'll be damned if you still talking about if African Americans got the right to vote. I can't hear you though. We built the country, we made the richest country in the world. There's nothing in this country you can't do, but the people that helped build it can't vote. Oh, there's something way wrong with that, and we're gonna change it. You're talking about we pay police officers to murder, kill, maim our people? This is going to change, my friends. So we aren't gonna stop till we get to the White House. So this isn't a wake for the 2 brothers that we just lost, or Gage, or little Jake. This is a birthplace of what's getting ready to happen. And when we achieve our goals through unity, the great day of change that Malcolm X talked about will be here. Involved with this community to help make that change. When I'm in Chicago, we work with Midwest Coalition to stop the violence. So what is that? That's black on black crime. So don't throw that in my face. We got crime going on in our community. In Chicago, I'm working with the Midwest Coalition, who's well known all around the city. Far from over, ladies and gentlemen. We thank you for coming. We've got work to do. For those who are here that rally with us to answer, check your friends and family's mental health. Eat properly. Whoever you pray to, whether it's Allah or somebody else, get close to who you believe your creator is. Because we have just saw the firing shot of war. War against those impoverished. War against those who are African Americans. War against women. War against minorities. Why? They keep saying, why do we keep bringing race up? Shit, why do they keep bringing race up? This young man's bail was paid by the Ku Klux Klan name no more to give him some damn juice. So what I'm saying is, his ideology was so that they speak out of their mouth every day. That's why you parents at home need to watch who the hell your kids are hanging around. Put the Put your drink down. Stop going out. Put the damn phone down and tend to your children.
Yes.
Because we got work to do. So I want y'all to please, thank you for coming. We got food over here. I know y'all got to get out of here because y'all got deadlines, but I want you to know that flag that's to my right over here is going to unify our people from Africa, the red, black, and green, the Haitians, the Nigerians, the Ghanaians, the African Americans, Pan-Africa, all around this world. When we move, we'll make an earthquake, and you better be ready. For our white brothers and sisters that stand with us, don't stop. For our white brothers and sisters that understand our plight, if you know my big brother Fred Hampton Jr., before Fred Hampton Jr. died, he gave a large chunk of money to some Appalachian whites. He gave another large chunk of money to some Hispanic brothers and sisters, and gave another large chunk of money to another outfit. They were the original Rainbow Coalition. And the coalition that we get ready to put together with my big brother Jake, Bianca Austin, the Floyd family, the people that play basketball, the people that make rhymes that y'all listen to, are all on one plane now. So please stay tuned, because big change is coming. Big ups to the red, the black, and the green. Unity now, one Africa. Thank y'all for coming.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So like Justin said, we want to thank folks for coming. We realize August of last year showed one thing, is that the system doesn't work. We saw the system try to extinguish black life, and we saw the system extinguish black or white life when they try to stand against the oppression that black folks experience. So we're going to look forward. Kenosha is going to be the starting ground for a reimagination of how we do business in America. And like the bishop said, we're going to protest with our vote, we're going to protest with our dollar, and we're going to reimagine this nation. We're going to get some food going, hoping folks are buying the heaters, and we're thankful for y'all coming out.
I'm sorry, I had a flashback. Because this is such a beautiful city, and they try to sell it as the city by the water, we, the people, are going to make sure that stops. This clearly is a safe haven for the Ku Klux Klan, for the Proud Boys, and everybody else. This is an old school sundown town. And we're going to let everybody know it. We're going to displace the economics by letting you know who the hell resides right here. And one of the reasons, and I'm sorry to come back up, but the reason that we stood by this family was multiple. But one of them was, which I had to explain to my big brother Jake this morning, is if this society is going to allow two of their own white young men to be murdered in the streets of Kenosha.
Yep.
I'm here to protect the millions of African Americans that marched last summer. The millions all around this country that you can pull up to now with AK-47 or AR-15 or 50 cal and unload into my people. Understand what I'm talking about. I dreamt about it the other night and I woke up in a sweat. What was done today was heinous. What was done today was irresponsible. Right. What was done today, they should have dragged that judge up off that damn stand and retired his ass immediately. Yep. No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! Anthony and JoJo! Anthony and JoJo! Gage! 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 Anthony and JoJo! Anthony and JoJo! Gage! Gage! We love y'all. Y'all are heroes. All you guys that are here, know that the Blake family, the Smith family, loves y'all. Please take care of yourself. This is a mighty long battle that we're in for. But let me tell you, my father marched, my great-grandfather's Garvey and I can see the light. We're almost there. Don't let nobody separate us. We will win the race. Peace. Hey, y'all, please eat. Please get some food. That's what it's here for. Get some chips, get some juice, get hydrated. And please say a prayer for Anthony and JoJo tonight and Gage, and include little Jake. And we love y'all.